Hey Pisces, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing a reading for the month of September. Just remember this is a general reading, so if it doesn't resonate, totally okay. Just leave for those that need to hear right now and come back for the next month's reading. But try to place the information that I give you in a way that makes the most sense in your life. And what I mean by that is sometimes it's not the subject, but the theme, and you can kind of place what I'm trying to tell you in your storyline, however it fits for you. But I'll show you as we go on with the reading. So let's hop into that. Spirit did tell me that everyone, pretty much all signs, has, something happening. Like there was some consistency, and then something just like happened that kind of shook you, whether it be good, bad, or neither. It's just something that happened that made you more aware, maybe had to put you into action. But there is some kind of awareness right now that you're like, oh, okay. And that, as a download that I got is a test. This is the lesson that we need to learn, and it's a test to see if we're ready for the next chapter, because we do have a new chapter that's coming in. That's why this like kind of shook up. It's like the whole planet is almost like on the same page with this, I feel like. But the universe wants to see if you're ready, because if you're not ready and you jump in, then you fail you fail in this next chapter, and it's going to be a miss. And that's not what the universe wants, especially if this is such a beautiful thing that they're trying to test you with. So let's go ahead, pull a card here, see what's going on in the month of September for Pisces. Overcome any obstacle. You know what? Do I want to pull another card? I'm just going to leave that. It just doesn't resonate. So, Rhino Spirit. That's a beautiful card. It's really pretty. Someone else got this too. I just don't know if it was a water sign. I've just done so many readings at this point. But overcome any obstacles. There is clearly an obstacle. Something happened. Some information, something that's come your way. Like I said, shook you up. And it's making you try to figure out what your next move is. What do you do? I also feel like there's situations that came into play. I feel like you guys have two things happening and not just one. I don't know why. Everyone has one. You had two. Congratulations. You're carrying the burden for all the signs. You have one thing that happened and you're like, whoa. And then you have your life thing. I feel like this was not really connected to you, but it's just there, and you're just like, and then this is like your life thing, and now you're trying to like juggle what you're supposed to do, and you almost want to leave. And I feel like you need to take an opportunity to go on vacation and step away from that. But overcoming the obstacle is what your test is. I feel like this is what your guides with Spirit is kind of like asking you to do for this month. Let's pull some more cards here to get a little bit more information. Someone else also got this too. Well, no, maybe they didn't. It looks similar. Okay, feels like family, or something. So we have the shepherd, which is celebration and family, and the botanist, which is parenthood and legacy. Is there some kind, it feels like the one thing was a family affair. Something happened within your family, or multiple people in the family, because I do see like there's two things happening. And maybe something coming in, because there is a sense of celebration with family. But there does seem to be like a conflicts within like children. Maybe you're the child, maybe your parents. So it could, or your kids. There's something with this like back and forth with a family issue. Whether it be multiple family members, because I do see two specific different topics, and there is another set of information that's going to be beautiful and positive, but celebration and family is like also in there. So when there's a little bit of mix of good and a little bit, that's probably why you have two issues. That's probably why you have two issues, because you have something good coming out of this regardless, like something good to celebrate at the end anyway. So the universe is like, you know what, they can handle both, because they'll just have a mix of happiness in between. So that is why you have a little bit of a burden, because I think that is not part of your next chapter, but it's coming in anyway. So they're just like, it evens the playing field, if that makes But let's go ahead and pull some more cards here. We're going to do some tarot so we can get a little bit of a narrowing down of which Pisces need to hear what message. Let's see what we have. Oh, that came out for some reason. Leave that there. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I feel... Okay, so I'm just going to keep that here, but I'm going to give the message with that anyway. So we have the first card that just popped out by itself is the Eight of Swords. It feels like you're, the energy that this card is giving me. So it could be both those situations or one or the other. But there is a sense of you turning like a blind eye to whatever's happening, and you feel almost trapped and stuck. Like if you were consistently helping these people, you feel like you have to help them. If you're not helping these people, you feel like you just can't and you shouldn't. But you're also turning a blind eye to whatever is happening. And there's one sense of enablement in a certain aspect of life and possibly the other aspect, but it feels very familiar and connected, but different. So that's why I'm saying I feel like it's family, but maybe it's two different families. Maybe you're married and you have like, the two separated families, functions or situations that are causing this kind of rift and this shake. Ooh, all right. Yeah. So let's just keep going. Because I'm getting so many information. So we have the Page of Cups, High Priestess here, and the Seven of Cups. So a lot of emotional stuff happening. A lot of emotion. This is like all water. All water symbolisms. I'm just gonna say blankly, I feel like you'll be able to place this where it makes most sense for you and within the situation. I feel like you have intuitively known some things about either or both situation, and it is from an emotional aspect more of like it's not like, oh, someone got into a car crash, we have to see them at the hospital. It's more of emotional and interpersonal. So you're dealing with people's emotions and not like a situation like, oh, like they lost their job, like you can't help them financially. It's like an emotional kind of state of affairs that's happening. And it is. I'm going to say this not in a way that I want to give advice, but it almost feels like you need to back off from both. Or again, one or the other, because I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces that people don't even realize. And if you start muddling into things, it's going to get very, very messy. Is muddling the right word? I don't meddling. Meddling. Wow. Okay. I need a day off. So meddling and things, it's gonna get very, very messy. And I feel like things are going to come to light if you just let it go. Um, there is an opportunity for a message of some kind of no, there's not an opportunity. That's not what I said. There's a message that's going to come in that's going to be bringing something more emotional as this like kind of starts opening up. I feel like you're going to get more information about the situation. And that may leave you in a situation where you are going to be able to help, but that right now is not the case. And I think it's really the obstacle is like, can you take a step back? Because I feel like your MO was probably always being there for everybody and taking care of things and handling everything. And now is just not the time. Again, like there is going to be a time for celebrate that will bring the family together. And I think that is something that will almost put like a pause on the situation that's happening just to give the time to relax and be happy about whatever the news is or the celebration is. Maybe you guys throw a party, maybe there's a birthday, maybe someone got a promotion, and then it'll give an opportunity for everyone to get a clear mind about the situation. And I think that specific celebration is going to kind of trigger the next set of events. So not meddling in things now. I mean, I don't want to give advice. We'll see what spirit has to say, but that is what I'm getting a sense of what they're trying to say to you. Again, I feel like there's some things that you are intuitively getting hits on, and a lot of emotion is going to be coming to play. More information is going to be coming out. Things will start happening, but you need to be hands off. It'll be handled, is really the gist of it. I will leave that here. So let's just say you do overcome the obstacle. You do kind of take a step back and just let it unfold and not help and do you and focus on yourself, because that's what you should be doing. Let's say that's the case and you pass the test. What does that look like for Pisces? Yeah, so we have the 8 of Wands, 5 of Wands in reverse, and the Page of Wands. So lots of Wands, lots of fiery energy, passion, excitement. Something's here to be excited about. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. The Ace of Pentacles came out. So you're going to have an opportunity for stability. And I feel like within this situation, it's peace. Because it could be finances. But again, this is like we're talking about the family aspect, because that's what I'm being pulled to talk about. But it does feel like peace, the stability of peace, and just opening your horizon for yourself, because again, I just don't feel like you do that, and I think that's another lesson, but right now that's not the focus of the reading. We do have message that's coming in very quickly that's going to be very exciting, good news, whether it be a text, a phone call, FaceTime, maybe in person, like, let's meet up kind of a thing. But there's something's going to come through pretty quickly. I don't know why I'm getting the sense of like a week or two after you watch this, or well, I guess it depends on when you watch this. I want to say the first 2 weeks of September, you have some kind of message. I don't know what it is, right? That's going to be for you to kind of decipher. But we have the 5 of Wands in reverse, which means that the conflict is kind of over. The conflict is over, whether it's in your own minds and you're just like, I don't care anymore, it is what it is. But people will eventually kind of stop the conflict because they will figure it out. Whatever that is that they're going to figure it out. It might not be the best resolution, but there is going to be a resolution. It's not going to involve you. You have nothing to do with this, right? And then the Page of Wands, another messenger. And this is like all beautiful things. Something that's coming through, news about it, something passionate, adventure, excitement, something happy, something that brings fire and happiness and a smile to your life. There's something new that's coming in very, very, very quickly. Again, are you going to be able to overcome the obstacle and stop people pleasing and putting your mind on something else? Because it's all about energy. If this seems pretty toxic, because it's like not toxic, but it's just so emotional and it's emotionally draining and it's a low. If that's what you are engulfing yourself in, then what reality can you receive something that's a high? You have to align yourself vibrationally with that. So you can't be involved with whatever those things are in your life, whether it be family related. And I do get a sense that family related, you will have a beautiful conversation, a beautiful celebration, whatever that is, that's going to kind of pivot the change, but it won't be in your hands. The people need to figure it out. Whoever it is needs to figure it out. And I think that's just a beautiful thing, because it releases you from any expectation, any burden, for you to be able to receive this beautiful, fiery, passionate, adventure-like chapter. So if this message did resonate, definitely like and subscribe so you don't miss another one of these, and leave a comment, because it's so important to build a community around this and not feel alone. I appreciate you guys for coming back, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.